Que pasa, amigos? I am Bandito. I wanted to talk about a topic that has been receiving some attention in the community. The new guns we received in the Mayhem 2.0 update and Cartel event are extremely strong. Now, this presents an issue in the fact that they are so strong that they crush their old counterparts and create a weapon gap. A great example of this is the Reflux and Brainstormer. The guns literally do the exact same things, they just have different elements, but because the Reflux came with the 2.0 update, its base damage is much higher, so any player is going to end up using the Reflux instead of the Brainstormer. The 2.0 and Cartel guns are simply better. Obviously, the deadliest weapon added in this update was the Yellowcake. The background gameplay is me using a Yellowcake, which can only be attained through the Cartel event, but I have 0 skills assigned, I have no grenades on, and no anoint usage on Mayhem 10. I only have a shield for survival purposes. Now one might think that it is not performing well, so it is expected because I have no build around that gun. That is correct, but this is Mayhem 10, the hardest difficulty in the game, and despite that I am still able to kill things even in a slow manner. Even a shoddy build could perform well with this gun. That is not Borderlands. Borderlands guns are meant to utilize synergies and the Yellowcake does not even need them. Now I am switching over to gameplay of me using the Ruby's Wrath. Now for this I have a filled out skill tree, a class mod, grenade mod, and shields with anoints and an artifact. I am absolutely trying to scrape out all the damage I can with this thing, and as you can see it performs about the same as the Yellowcake did, but the Yellowcake had no build around it. Now, I am not screaming for a buff to the Ruby's Wrath, I am simply exhibiting the weapon gap that has been created. So, now that we have established that we have a gap, what can Gearbox do? The way I see it, Gearbox has 3 options to go with. They can either nerf the 2.0 weapons, they can mass buff older weapons, or they can expand the arsenal with future updates. The one that Thick Fillet has vouched for is nerfing the strongest weapons. This would probably make most builds weaker and Mayhem 10 more difficult. This would cause a major balance shift to occur, and it may upset some players that have put in major time to create these super strong builds, and some people might even leave. Personally, I am happy with the way it is now, but a difficulty increase would not make me that upset. The second route that can be taken is to buff the weaker weapons. This would result in more build diversity at Mayhem 10. However, I am not a fan of this for a couple reasons. For one, there would be a huge amount of weapons that would need buffing, and Gearbox would need to spend a huge amount of time to tune these weapons. The second issue I have with this is that it would make it even easier than it is now to make a Mayhem 10 viable build, and therefore reduce the difficulty of grind for Mayhem 10. This may sound ridiculous, but I don't want to be able to grab any gun and use it to clear the hardest content. I want there to be some good guns that each character can synergize with in order to beat the hardest content. Overall, I feel that mass buffing is not the way to go. The third option that Gearbox has comes in the form of future updates. Now, Gearbox is planning major updates to the game that are going to add more legendaries to the game. If the updates do add guns of the same caliber, with each update we'll experience more diversity. Preferably, these guns would be right at the same power level as the 2.0 and Cartel guns, but with different uses and different synergies. I think that the gradual expansion of our arsenal will keep the meta changing, but it will not invalidate the guns of the previous generations. Personally, I would love for them to go down this route. I really like the level that most of these guns are at, and for them to add new ones at the same level would mean more diversity while having a blast. I think the game is currently in a fantastic state right now and is the most fun I have had in Borderlands, period. I do still feel that the weapon gap should be addressed. I also feel that the Yellowcake just flat out needs a nerf. None of the other options will do any justice for this gun. The gun is just simply too strong and does not require a solid build around it. So, tell me what you think Gearbox should do. Is there another possible move that they can do to keep the build diversity exciting, but also keep Mayhem 10 difficult? I hope that the guns in the next update are just as strong as the current updates. I appreciate all of y'all for watching, and later Penteos.